What's up, sports fans? It's your man D back. Sports talk. All right, check it out. BFTB, you idiot. And let me start off with that. So here we go, man. Here we go. So next up on the table is this guy, BFTB. So BFTB says that Gary Russell Jr. is pound for pound, and he doesn't give a care who says what. Well, BFTB, I'm saying it. You idiot. He is not pound for pound, okay? And, you know, I want to know what it is with BFTB that makes him think that Gary Russell Jr. is pound for pound. Like, what has Gary Russell Jr. done to say that he's pound for pound? What has Gary Russell Jr. done to say that he's pound for pound over Canelo, over Terrence Crawford, over Vasyl Lomachenko, who coincidentally beat him, over Alexander Usyk, who's gone for belt undisputed? What about Monster Inoue, who's already a 3-division champion? BFTB, you idiot. What has Gary Russell done? I mean, you explain to me and to the boxing fans, because you're trying to convince the boxing fans that this guy is pound for pound. You know, we have new fans coming into boxing. I don't think that you, me, or anybody, I think it's irresponsible to the fans that's trying to learn about boxing for us to make them believe that a guy like Gary Russell is pound for pound. I mean, what has he done? I mean, let's take a look at this. Let's take a quick look at this. So it appears to me 6 years ago he fought Vasyl Lomachenko and a loss. And so since he lost to Vasyl Lomachenko, and Lomachenko is pound for pound, I think on most people's list, probably not this idiot's list, but on most people's list, I believe he probably is pound for pound. So let's see, BFTB. I guess after he loses to Lomachenko, he had an impressive unanimous decision against a Christopher Martin. Or was it the old man Johnny Gonzalez? You know, 59-7 prior to Gary Russell knocking him out. I guess that, in BFTB's perspective, put this guy at pound for pound. Or was it Patrick Hyland? I mean, Oscar Escanda. I mean, what has he done, BFTB? I'm just interested. It seemed to me that the most impressive fight on his resume, since he lost to Vasyl Lomachenko, who is pound for pound, is Joseph Diaz. Now, let's talk about Joseph Diaz. BFTB, you idiot. Because Joseph Diaz had a pretty decent fight with Tevin Farmer, who's also not pound for pound. And I believe that that's Joseph Diaz's claim to fame. So I'm wondering, in a 6-year span, with 6 fights in between, very inactive. I mean, 6 years, you should at least have 12, I would say. Very inactive fighter. Hadn't fought a Hall of Famer. No Hall of Famers on his record. Except Lomachenko, which, again, he lost to. To say, yeah, this guy got pound for pound. That's my question to you, BFTB, you idiot. Here's the thing, boxing fans that really would like to learn something. A guy like Gary Russell Jr. is a pretty good fighter. He's a good fighter. I won't take anything away from Gary Russell. He's a good fighter, but Gary Russell Jr. is too inactive, first and foremost, in my opinion, to be considered pound for pound. He's not fighting enough. This is the sport of boxing. You have to be in the ring. It's like I say about Kawhi Leonard over there in the NBA. We can't consider Kawhi Leonard the best because Kawhi Leonard doesn't have himself in the game enough. He's on minute restriction. has degenerative knees. So this is something that's going to plague him for the duration of his career. But if he's not on the floor playing enough, we can't consider him the best in the game because there are guys who are much more worthy because they play and they win. Well, it's the same thing with Gary Russell Jr. BFTB, you idiot. He's inside the ring a minute amount of times. He's not in the ring enough. And he hasn't beaten the people. He hasn't fought consistent champion after champion. Like Canelo's fought 5 champions, even though you guys don't like him. He's fought 5 champions. 5 champions in a row. Gary Russell Jr., not so much. You idiot. There's nothing that you can say, BFTB, to the people that's trying to learn about boxing that will explain. There's no criteria that you could give me that would explain why you're saying Gary Russell is pound for pound. But here's something, guys, narratives, because see, this is what I want to do. I want to get rid of all the narratives. So if Gary Russell is pound for pound, if they push this idea that this guy is pound for pound, then that makes the Devin Haney Gary Russell matchup seem that much more valid. It makes it seem as if Devin Haney is taking on the challenge to fight a pound for pound fighter. And although he's moving up 2 weight classes, if we call him pound for pound, that adds a little validity to the fight. That's not going to fly here, BFTB, because he's not pound for pound. He would beat Gary Russell from pillar to post in that ring. And this is not a good fight. And you're an idiot. So I just want to put that out there for all the boxing fans. When you hear a guy named Gary Russell Jr., he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. He's had a pretty good career, but he's not pound for pound. He would probably be lucky. We'll see if he'll make the Hall of Fame. But he's definitely not pound for pound at this time. He's definitely not doing more than Terrence Crawford. He's definitely not doing more than Monster Inoue, 4-belt unification winner Alexander Usyk. Forget about Lomachenko and Terrence Crawford because once again, Lomachenko beat him. Right? So he definitely wouldn't be ahead of him. So, BFTB, this is an emphatic, you idiot. You look about as stupid as you sound talking about Gary Russell Jr. being pound for pound. See that look on his face? That's just as stupid as Gary Russell being pound for pound. And I just wanted to clear that up because Gary Russell's not pound for pound. We will not boost him up to be pound for pound. So if for some strange reason he does fight Devin Haney, we can't blow this fight up and make it appear that Devin Haney is, doing a great thing by fighting a pound for pound fighter because he's not pound for pound. You idiot. I don't know why you would try to convince somebody that he's pound for pound. You idiot. And please, if you have a problem with that, come on over to Speak Your Mind Sports Talk. Click that link on the live, and we can talk about why you feel Gary Russell's pound for pound. And I'll explain to you why I feel you must be on drugs or something. You idiot. Because you have to be smoking some real high quality, potent shit to believe that, BFTB. Gary Russell is not at all pound for pound. You idiot. So, with that being said, y'all know how I always end this thing. For the love of sports, let's talk about it. Peace.